I love Proverbs. Look at my Proverbs. This be highlighted up.
The whole page.
Highlighted up.
Look
Look.
how Christian I am.
I like your color coding.
Your glasses deserve to fog up.
Welcome to Circle Back to Sunday here at Victory Hill. We are so excited that you're here to join us as we circle back and dive deep into the message from Sunday's sermon. You are going to get to meet some of our pastoral team on an intimate level, as well as other members here at Victory Hill as we circle back to Sunday's sermon. Welcome back to Circle Back to Sunday. This is the final episode of season one. Oh,
We had the same thought.
and I'm joined by Pastor Mason.
Hello.
Who actually preached today. So we're doing this is a special episode where the teaching team member is also included.
Have we done that this season?
No.
Very special.
No, we have not.
You are special.
And
I know.
we are joined here by Miss Bethany Graves, Miss Bethany Special Graves,
Yes.
who is, and I would like to welcome everybody to the podcast.
The tiny hands. The tiny
I almost
hands.
bought some of those at Five Below.
Welcome to the podcast. I do love some tiny hands, so
Tiny hands.
good job today, Mason.
Thank you.
I wanted to surprise you with the tiny
Just a
hand.
little, just give
Tiny
it,
round of
just
applause.
a little hand.
Just a
Tiny.
little hand.
I'm gonna
Not a big
take my
one.
glasses off because I'm sweating and they're like fogging up. And I
Listen.
can't see.
That's all right.
You and listen, Brian Michael, it cracks me up because I'm on the production team and like we rotate through the cameras, right? Like I'm helping everybody sort through who to focus on.
Yeah.
And y'all, when he's getting it, sweat is just rolling off of
Oh, I
him.
know.
Oh, it's bad.
And I'm like, why are we zoomed in on him so quick?
I always
Don't know.
worry if he's actually washed this little sweat rag that sits up there.
I'm
like,
gonna.
"Bleh," that's
I'm
like
actually
yours
gonna
worth
take
of
this
sweat.
jacket off. I
Oh.
wore something black and slimming so Bethany didn't fat shame me, but
I would
I'm gonna take it off because I'm burning
I
up.
would like to just say to the crowd of witnesses that is watching this today or listening that Trey Harper is actually my friend. And contrary to popular belief, Mason Harris is actually my friend. And they wouldn't know what to do
Even though
without
she
me.
treats us this way, we are still her friend.
Do not.
As Mason took the high road
I
last
did.
podcast.
You know
So-
why he took
so
the high
Christian
road?
of me,
So that he
too.
could say, "Did you know that I took the high road? Because I took the
did.
high road." That's not
Called and said,
humility
I
at all.
I Marco'd her and said, "Hey, did you watch the podcast yet?"
Such a loser.
I really.
You know, it's actually great though because he preached all three today, so he's going to be kind of
I'm a
not on
little
his A
slow.
game. This should be
Well, we hate it for you. Hate it for you.
You're welcome.
But he did kick off our new sermon series.
Yes.
Which, unfortunately, it's our last podcast. But last week
This
we had
season.
to cancel
Yeah.
because of some really outrageous weather that we had.
was sketchy.
Rough.
It was some
I had
sketchy
to.
weather.
Yeah, that was
Shelter
fun.
in place.
We were in the basement at my mama's.
Oh, we were definitely in the basement
was scary.
all day.
Yeah.
It was scary. But so we're back.
I ran outside during it.
Why? Because you're a true Southerner.
Fix the trampoline. I didn't
Oh.
have the things locked down, and I thought this is gonna go.
This is when the
As soon
time.
as I got in the door, like my grill got blew off the patio, like furniture was everywhere.
When we say it got real here, it got
It
real.
did.
It
there
got
was
real.
trees everywhere.
I met somebody from Michigan today, and they said, "Is this normal?" And I was like, "I don't think so. I'm not a meteorologist,
Right.
but
I saw a
feels
thing.
worse.
I don't remember what the date was, but that like overall the amount of severe weather and or tornadic weather that we've had is like up
Tornadic, look at you.
67%.
Yeah, it's way
Yeah.
above average.
Listen, I know
Way
them
above-
words.
look at you.
That's a big word.
I'm proud of you."
Impressed.
A nader.
But so we are kicking off our last podcast with a new sermon
Yeah.
series, but we hope that you all will hang in there and then come back for
maybe
season
a
2.
bonus episode.
Woo, we
this summer.
might have some
something in the
surprises.
works.
I like that.
You never know.
We love surprises.
It's something fun.
And it may be a surprise to all of us.
That's
Who knows?
true.
Honestly, I want to do something live.
Ooh,
We did something live sometime.
I'm
do
here
it.
for it.
We're just kicking out ideas.
Let's do it. We're just going to throw out ideas. You guys can throw yours back at the
Yeah.
church.
Throw them in the comments.
Send them to Mason Harris at.
No. I'm just kidding. It's like
VictoryHill.us.
it's on the website. You can email me.
You can hide.
I
But the
won't read it.
the new series is called Wisdom.
Yeah.
Spelled D-U-M-B.
I love that.
DUMB.
Wisdom.
I think it's
I
kind
feel
of
like you should have done the soft B so that people knew.
wisdom.
Bye.
Wisdom.
But you kicked it off great, and you talked about where wisdom begins. And we are diving into Proverbs. You said for this sermon series, that's pretty much going to be where we're at.
Next 2 months.
I always
2
like
months.
when the graphic comes up or whatever because it's always like the actual thing, but then it's like the explanation underneath it in small letters, and I always write it down. So using Proverbs to prevent dumb decisions.
Thank you. We work really hard
I
on
like
that.
that. I love it. I always write it down because I go back to, because when you used Proverbs 1:1-7, and I know
That's
and
where we're at. That's
we'll
where we're
read it. But I always write beside that too the sermon series we're in, so
That's
that I
cool.
go back and remember it.
Well,
when
I take, because I get the privilege of having the actual notes, being on the production
Yeah.
team. I take these and I'll trim it down so
Yeah.
it fits in my Bible.
Yeah.
So I have
Sick.
it.
Gabe prints his off and writes his notes
Well,
on
Gabe is an amazing Christian
it.
man.
He is.
Gabe's the best.
Oh my god.
Gabe's a standard.
Such a good Christian for
Yes.
marrying
He-
somebody like Bethany.
He's so blessed to be married to me. I'm just
It just makes him a better.
He's
I'm
a
blessed to be
better.
married
better
to
He's
him.
the best.
He
Yes.
is.
Top
I
tier.
agree.
Top
I
tier.
agree.
Gabe, you better listen to this
Gabe's the
podcast.
man.
He won't listen.
As Bethany turns it on their home stereo very
Like,
loud.
Listen, we all said you were
Well, when
great.
I asked her if she had listened to it on Marco, she said no, I didn't listen to it. It was like Friday.
Because I knew he was gonna shame
Girl.
me. I didn't want to listen.
Did Gabe keep it a secret though, like
No.
the whole time? Oh, well, Gabe's points minus.
Minus 1 point taken from Gabe.
But as Bethany said, we are in Proverbs 1:1-7, and I'm going to just read it really quickly for everyone. It's the Proverbs of Solomon, son of David, king of Israel, for learning wisdom and discipline, for understanding insightful sayings, for receiving prudent instruction in righteousness, justice, and integrity, for teaching shrewdness to the inexperienced, knowledge and discretion to a young man. Let a wise person listen and increase learning, and let a discerning person obtain guidance. For understanding a proverb or a parable, the words of the wise and their riddles. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, and fools despise wisdom and discipline. So, Mason, where you said we're really going to land was the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
Yep.
And that was kind of your big point today.
Yeah. I
And
almost
mine-
just did one verse, but it just didn't.
That'd be wild.
Yeah.
Mine is New Living Translation, and mine says fear of the Lord is the foundation of true knowledge. So I wrote beside it beginning because I like that
Yeah.
that thought as well.
Well,
I,
that word, it translates, it's a Hebrew word. It means it's got like 2 or 3 different, because English is kind of limited to what that word is. But yeah, like foundation, the start was one.
Yeah, my version says the beginning.
It's like the starting point.
Yeah.
The biggest thing it was talking about, like, this is the chief principle.
Oh, the chief. I like,
Like
that.
this is like, this
Pretty
is got to have it. Yep.
I got my pen. I'm gonna write that down. Chief.
She's on.
There was so I come from old timey Pentecostal background, in case y'all couldn't tell, and there was
Just a little bit.
old pastor when I was like little that used to say a proverb a day keeps the devil away.
Oh,
And
praise
when
him.
I do, that's right.
And somebody
Jesus.
ran with a flag.
That's
to the
right, and
back
probably
aisle,
somersaulted through the
Tambourine
altar.
shake.
I do though when I do like my reading plan or whatever, I read a chapter in Psalms and I read a chapter in Proverbs every day, and so it just cycles through every month. And so I've underlined that a million times, but never thought about it through the beginning or the foundation, the start,
Yeah.
the chief.
No, I like
that.
I like that you were also talking about like parables and stuff that we've probably heard in our life, which you had some good ones.
What does that mean? Look, a gift horse in a
Okay,
mouth.
so
Tell
dude,
me more.
So listen to this.
What's a gift horse?
I can say this on the podcast. I almost
Tell me.
made that the salvation invitation.
Look, a gift horse in the mouth.
I was this close.
How do you do that?
Because wisdom is described as a gift.
Yeah.
And so looking a gift horse in the mouth is an old saying because you could tell the age of a horse back in the day by the teeth.
Okay.
So you would open its mouth. So they have 2 sets of teeth.
Yeah, but what's it have to do with the gift?
So what they're saying is
Hold on now.
don't
Hold your horses.
like just accept the gift. It's a gift.
Okay.
Don't analyze or overanalyze.
Like, don't
Just
be looking in
accept
your
the
horse's mouth to
gift.
see how old it is.
Even if like don't be like overanalyzing a gift you get, just receive the gift. Just take it. So I was going to kind of tie those together, go like, hey, don't in this moment, don't look a gift
Overanalyze it,
horse
yeah.
in the mouth. Don't overanalyze, receive the gift.
Yeah.
But like I felt like I'm gonna mess
Murder
that
that.
up so bad. And I don't know, like I've read like 3 or 4 references to that, but then
Yeah.
somebody from the back's like, that's not what that means.
I would have been like,
And like it just would have been confusing. But that was almost like how I tried to connect back.
I
but
would
it
have
just
totally got
didn't-
you off beat because I would
Yeah.
have laughed.
I did laugh third service. I'm so sorry. I don't know what you said, but it got me tickled, and it made you get tickled, and I don't remember what it was.
A blind hog finds a trough every now and then.
That wasn't in first service.
No, third. I got tickled in third.
Yeah.
Did you just come up with that one in between?
No, I had 4, but I couldn't remember all of them.
I like you did have some good ones, but I wrote down like you play with fire, you're gonna get burned.
Yeah.
Just make we're
I
southern.
mean, they're technically, like, I looked them up, like, old. I got the idea because I was just thinking of something old that one of my grandma or grandpa said, and I was just thinking about, like, that's proverb, and literally
that's how they used
that's
to speak.
what it was described as, Southern proverbs. And so, like, the difference between what we have in the book, they're divinely inspired by God, but they're still like proverbs that people, like we say now, that like still hold value and wisdom. So
I can't wait to use that in like conversation.
So basically, Bethany, if
Like
your
than one
horse
way
is
to
on
skin
death's
a cat.
door,
Yeah.
you accept that gift.
You just look a gift
yeah,
horse
don't
in the
look
mouth.
a gift.
No, you don't look the gift
Don't.
horse.
Well,
You
what
don't.
stinks, and another reason I was scared to do it, my mom has always said a gimp,
A gimp horse?
like a gimp,
Like it's limping?
like your foot.
Shut
gimp. But like, so yeah, and I looked it up.
Betty
and
Boo
it's like,
comes off
it's
tomorrow.
not. It's gift. It's a gift horse. Yay! It's
It'll be
gift.
totally normal.
Not
Yeah.
I
gimp.
knew it was gift. That's
And I was like,
A gimp horse.
I
in the
looked it
mouth.
up because I was like, because I was going to talk.
Did you call Mama and be like, Mom, you've been saying it wrong this
No,
whole
no,
time?
no. I just let her do her thing.
so. If you speak to Mason's mother,
Just say
Oh,
gimp.
dude.
Gimp horse.
Gimp horse.
I call them Chuckisms.
Oh, I
Chuck
could see
fires
that.
off like,
I could see that.
it's your
Yeah.
world. I'm just living in it. I'm
My
just
dad
a
used to
squirrel. I'm just a squirrel trying to get a nut. That's what he said.
My dad used to say all the time, it's Bethany's world. We're all just living in it.
Yep.
And I'd be like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Thank you
Fine,
for
it's whatever.
recognizing.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah, I know. I was like, well, sounds good.
But yeah,
Anyways,
there's wisdom.
Back
in
to
there.
Jesus. The first
Oh,
point I
man.
liked what you said, we all have the opportunity
Yes.
to grow in wisdom. I don't necessarily think we all like to do that though.
No.
Because
Well, it ain't
one
fun.
of the things that I wrote down, and I guess it was on further, but you were talking about how you can't have knowledge and wisdom without like failing, basically.
Right.
Like you've got to learn from that. And I don't
I think the best lessons we learn are from our mistakes.
yeah, but I don't
Absolutely.
particularly like those.
No.
But
Nobody
they are
does.
the
Never
ones.
fun.
But they are the ones that stick in. I mean, it's kind of like parenting. Like you have to, you can reprimand all day long. Like don't do that, don't do that. But once
Yeah.
they get like something either taken away or like a whooping, like
Yeah.
they gonna remember.
The
you know?
craziest thing about parenting though is like you don't know if you did a good job till they're like 20.
Absolutely,
We're out here just winging it, man.
absolutely.
I'm doing the best I can.
Listen, it's the first time I've
I'm not-
done it.
That's right.
I'm not looking at
Every
gift
time's
horses.
the first time.
I'm not looking that gift horse in the mouth.
No,
No one
for
wants
sure.
to look that gift horse.
But I do think that's cool because you do gain
Yeah.
wisdom and you gain understanding from failing. Someone always said, "Fail forward." Like just don't stay
yeah.
behind. Just
Yeah.
keep going.
Another
That's a good
proverb.
That's a good proverb right there.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Words of
Forward.
wisdom. I
Bethany.
like that you tied it in because you were like, let a wise person listen and increase their learning. But then you also tied it into like the image we have of Jesus, right? Where, we know the Christmas story of his birth and all that, but like you said, they were responsible basically for keeping God's son alive and
Yeah.
they lost him once.
They did.
Doesn't that make you feel so much better as a parent?
It does. I mean, my kids have hidden
Hadn't lost
in
Jesus
those
yet.
clothes things at the store.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hiding in it.
You're panicking.
Yeah.
That's a lot more pressure
I
for
used to do
Mary.
that to my mom all the time. I just so did that. Hide in the
hide from
clothes
your
rack,
mom?
yeah.
Yes. Ooh, son.
Not you. Be
Well,
a
that
bad
was
kid.
back
I
in the
don't
day, like where you could mom would just cut us loose in Walmart.
Oh, absolutely.
And then like have them page us when she was done.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Me too. Same.
Times
Well,
have
back
changed.
then, Mary couldn't page Jesus.
No, she
Nah.
couldn't.
That'd been nice.
And I don't
Yeah.
know that I'd been running through town going, Jesus,
Well,
get
and-
your butt back home.
Have you seen the Chosen, the episode where she loses him or whatever, and he's in the tabernacle and like
Because he's growing in wisdom.
yes,
Yeah.
and he's like 12. I don't know, remember
Yep,
her
he's
age, but and she's like running frantically through the village and like crying and stuff, and it was just such a cool picture because you obviously know that it's his mom, but
Right.
that was such a motherly moment. Like she's weeping and it's not and in that moment it was because she lost her son, not because she lost Jesus, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that
To
was
her,
two
it was
different
her
things.
son.
Yeah, but that was I watched The Chosen. It's
But
really cool.
ma'am,
I like it.
that was the son of God.
That was the son
Yeah.
of God.
You had one
Put
job.
one of them
had
kid leashes
one
on him.
You had one job. Don't lose Jesus.
Way to go, Mary.
At least she found him. So, bonus points for that. But he was there to grow
Mm-hmm.
his wisdom and his statue.
Yeah.
And he was learning from and teaching at the same time at 12.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not just for us.
Yep.
Because Jesus did it too.
Yep.
So I think that was the point you were trying to make. That's what I took from it.
Well, yeah, I mean, too, like when you look at it, the way I read the proverb, I mean, and like I could have went almost just preached that front part just to really talk about the different things, the inexperienced, the young man, the who all was it, like what it means to be prudent, instruction, righteousness, justice, and integrity, all those things. But really, to me, like the biggest part, because I wanted to focus on the fear. The biggest part is that it was like it was to whoever needs it, come get it.
Yeah.
Like, well, it's to teach. It's an opportunity, but it's not. You're not going to gain wisdom by accident.
Yeah. I do like that in the third service, or maybe it's the second one, you said that we have to pass down the wisdom we learn from our mistakes.
Yep.
Because otherwise our kids are going to have to pay a stupid tax.
Yep.
And I was like,
That's a Dave Ramsey term.
That is the stupid taxes for sure.
I was like, ooh, that's heavy.
Yeah,
right
and
there.
you don't like telling those stories. Like, it's not something that you want to be like, especially like my 13-year-old. Like, I don't necessarily want to tell him stories of when I was that age or anything like that. But at the same time, if it saves him from making mistakes, then that's just kind of what you have to do. Honestly, they just laugh at me and like, that's so long ago.
Yeah, I would never do
Shut
something like
up.
that.
It doesn't apply to me
Like,
now.
did you have on baggy pants, Mom?
Probably did.
Yeah, I probably did.
Listen, don't be judging.
That's fine.
Don't be judging. But your second point was that wisdom and knowledge require having the right starting point, which is going to go back to where you focused on the fear of the Lord.
Right.
Right? Because you said, you're talking about the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, which beginning also can be translated to foundation and
The start.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's when you were talking about like the fear. Talking about last week the storms. Like I was huddled in the basement. I have a real fear of storms, and always have. I blame my grandma, but she used to tell me that thunder is what made tornadoes come. So like anytime it thundered, I was terrified. Fun fact, that's not true, but so like I'm afraid of those types of things. I'm afraid of heights and stuff like that. But when you were talking about like shrinking back in fear, but drawing close in awe and
I wrote that
wonder.
down too.
Yeah.
And I thought like I need to think about that, because in those moments that I'm physically afraid of things in this world, like, am I looking at him in awe and wonder? And even when you were talking about like, basically like in those moments we're taking that physical fear instead of knowing that like he already has us, like he already has the place, he already knew, he already did all this, and we don't have that fear of him. Like that wisdom, like it was convicting to me. I'm not gonna lie, like it was a step on the toe moment, because I thought I really do in those moments of being physically afraid need to take a step back and draw closer to the awe and wonder of who he is. Because in all honesty, like, I mean, if it's my time, it's my time. Like,
You can't stop it.
I don't really want to go in a tornado, but I mean, I guess there are worse ways to go.
Dorothy ended up in Oz. I mean, you never know
true.
what's going to happen.
That's true.
I think like
just be crying.
the big issue with cried last week. Oh,
It's
gosh.
fine. I'm always crying. What are y'all talking about?
I think the big thing with fear too is it's this idea that if I just treat God as ordinary,
Yeah.
then I can just live my life however I want to. Without fear, without the fear of God, there's begins to this relax in your moral standards.
Yeah, that's true.
And you start to just justify decisions. Like I know people that's like done some stupidly horrendous like sin,
Yeah.
who would say they believe in Jesus, but have lowered their standard of God so low that they think that they're good.
Yeah.
I'm
Like
forgiven.
you said, that they justified their actions.
And like I think I think we have to know that we can disappoint God.
Yeah.
But I think that is where people think that they have to be perfect.
Right.
Like, the fear of the Lord leads you to be perfect. I don't think that that's necessarily true, but I do think it brings conviction.
Yeah.
I do think it brings you to like
I think it has to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're not.
You have to change.
Well, if you don't fear him,
if
how are you
you
going to be
don't-
convicted?
Yeah.
If you don't have that conviction, you're not going to be formed into the image of Christ, which is
Right.
the
Yeah.
ultimate reason
Right.
that we have this relationship.
Yep.
And it is this awe-inspiring fear. Like I wanted to really hone it because like I feel like it just gets downplayed.
Well,
Like, well, it's just reverence, and
Yeah.
and
but
I'm
you
like,
also
yeah,
have
it
the
is.
opposite end of that spectrum where I was missionary Baptist growing
Oh
up.
yeah,
Yeah.
And the fear
Hell, you had
meant
the fear.
fire and
Right,
brimstone.
right.
You were
Going to hell today.
hell.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
because I
So
didn't, I didn't wear a skirt to church. I
Right,
was
right.
doomed.
so there's a like that's why I said several times a healthy
Funny fact, you have on a skirt today.
yeah.
Thank
Good
you,
job.
Jesus.
There's
Going to heaven.
and nothing's wrong, with missionary Baptist.
Nothing's wrong.
Nothing's wrong. We
No,
love you.
Oh,
That was a personal
Yeah,
example.
well, I mean, that's what you grew up in. But like the thing too, like there's a unhealthy form,
Yes.
there's a healthy form, there is a neglect.
Yep.
I think when
And
you
you have to
explain that, it was
find that medium of I am shrinking back in fear, because of how great and how amazing and how vast and how large God is. But yet at the same time, I'm drawing closer in wonder of Him because of how.
Yep.
And I didn't want to hit on it today because you don't want to undo what you're trying to like drive home fear.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the mercy of God outweighs the judgment of God
Absolutely.
in the Bible. When you see Him more as merciful than you do judgmental. But I don't want anyone to live their life just like Buddy, like, and I know Jesus is a friend that sticks closer than brother, but we have to look at God with a reverent fear, because if we don't, we won't gain the knowledge that we need to receive the wisdom that we need, because I want my kids to be somewhat afraid of me.
That's what I was just about to say. I know we always come back to parenting, but I got a million kids. So maybe
which
that's why.
I prayed. I've prayed 4 things for my kids every day, but one of them is to teach them to fear you. But I want them to be somewhat afraid of me.
Yeah.
I want them to sense the change of tone
respect.
in my voice.
Absolutely.
yeah,
To
that's- I think
know
it's a
that
respect thing.
to know that I'm disappointed in what they've done.
Yeah.
So that they won't do it again.
Yeah.
Not just to be mad at them just for the sake of being mad at them, but I'm trying to teach them to be something
Yeah.
different,
Yeah.
to live a life that's not
We've got
a
to a point.
dummy.
I don't even have to raise my voice, and my kids know.
Yeah. And it's
Oh,
never
I like
to
I like getting them close, talking
Gabe's like,
straight to them,
Gabe's a snap.
yelling. My kids love yelling. They'll laugh
know.
at you if you yell at them. But like if I bring them in real close,
Not
know.
Lad.
listen.
At that
Lad
point, they know.
wouldn't.
Lad.
Lad wouldn't laugh at you for yelling. He's a sweet baby.
I just look at them and was like, hey. And I've tell them flat out before, like, I'm disappointed in what you've done.
I've
Yeah.
told my
You're
kids that.
better than
Yep.
this.
Yep.
Like, I'm honestly astonished you're doing this.
Yep.
Change it.
I
and
mean,
like,
my dad could say that to me as a
Yeah.
35-year-old, and I would still
Right.
be like,
I'd cry.
so sorry, Dad.
but my kids know I love them too.
But I was about to say, it's not
Yeah.
an unravel your mental health.
No, it is.
no,
That's what you're
It's-
talking about, a healthy
Yeah.
balance.
But
Yeah.
I guarantee you that they think about it before the next time,
Oh,
because
yeah.
no one likes to feel that feeling of disappointment. And I do think that that's exactly the way that the fear of God comes in. It's just
And I
respect.
think that is what makes the difference between where you talked about justification.
Yeah.
There's a difference in justification and repentance.
Right.
Because you can justify all day long, and with justification, you're really not like, well, I'm
Well, I
sorry,
think-
I don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
With repentance, it's like, okay, God, I messed up.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this again because I don't want to go through this again. I don't want to disappoint you again. So I'm going to give this to you, and I'm going to do better.
Yeah.
Right.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
And when you
There's,
talked
like,
about that,
when you look at the father too, like
Yeah.
there's a difference of going to him and saying, "Hey, I screwed up. Can you help me, or show me what to do? Show me what not to
Help
do."
me
There's
do
another
better.
thing
Help
like
me.
I screwed up and I don't care,
Yeah.
and I think that's what I'm trying to hit on. Is like,
Yep.
like you should care.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying you have to be perfect,
No.
but the Bible does says, "Be ye holy as I am holy."
yeah.
So at some point we've got to. It can't just be all nonchalant. We can't just be like just laid back, sitting
Chilling.
back, chilling Christians. Like
I
we have
agree.
to consciously, in every effort, trying our hardest to bring glory to God. Whatever you do,
Yeah.
do it. Can you bring God glory in what you're doing?
Well, and that's why I think you had point 3, how you view God is how we live for him.
Yeah.
Like, I think I wrote down, when we fear God in the right way, it will change how we act, how we trust, and
Yeah.
how we share to others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because so many times, I mean, especially in our age group, like people were brought to church, in
Well,
their
you're a little
childhood.
older than I am.
Oh my gosh.
I love that he also point out that he's the baby in the room.
He is the baby and acts
I'm not the
like
baby.
it.
No, don't.
OMG.
Little butter.
Anyways,
It's just his world we're
it's
living
like the
in.
little
That's
brother
right.
you didn't choose. That's what makes it.
We inherited
Coming from
him.
somebody that had like 45 brothers and sisters.
That's true. See, and I would choose some of them. No. I was just
Roasted.
thinking, like, I can't even get with y'all the right way. How we change, how we act, how we trust, how we share to others. I don't know where I was going. Y'all pick that up.
Well, I think like I want people like in the mess, like I'm trying to drive home. Like I want you to see God in such a way that it changes how you act,
Yeah,
changes how you love,
Yeah.
it changes how you worship.
but it doesn't say be perfect.
No.
It doesn't say like
No.
change it and it's only going to happen that one time.
And
Like
it's the-
it may be a
Yeah.
repetitive thing.
You know,
But
I'm a-
living
listen.
that life in fear of God, that's where knowledge comes
Yeah,
from. That's where
absolutely.
wisdom comes from. Like doing the things, it's the keeping the moral standard of God in your life. Am I always going to live up to it? No.
Probably not.
I'm
Ooh.
going to
Speaking
make
of which,
mistakes.
just
Yeah.
gonna call myself out.
What'd you do?
Sometimes I don't like myself as a sports parent
Oh,
No.
because I'm very
Get a little
competitive.
roused up there,
Get a little
sis.
It's a little redneckery coming
Little
out.
little bit. But we were out of basketball.
I do
It's
love
worse
to
at
heckle.
basketball because that's what I played. So it's worse in that sport. And I was not yelling at the children or at the umpires.
them.
I was just yelling out loud for the coaches to hear that if we keep running the same play, we're going to keep having the same outcome. And it wasn't a
Quit
good
running
one.
the ball, Bert. Y'all seen that? As off
It
the
wasn't a good one.
stop with
Yep.
the trick plays, Bert. Run the
blindside.
dang ball.
Run the dang ball. That's
That was you.
You
That was
are.
me. And I
love that movie.
I got called out in an inadvertent way. Basically, I got called out by
Did you
them.
get teed up?
No, they were talking crap
Oh,
about me
snap.
Oh no.
I've been there.
on the live game stream.
Oh,
It was other parents.
Oh no.
So it was heard
like this crazy lady.
across the the app. Like my
Oh,
boy's
no.
stepmother heard it, and she was like, "What is going on?"
No.
Because they knew
Party foul.
like who I was yelling at.
Yeah.
But they took it as I was yelling at the kids.
Mm.
And so I was like, okay, I got to check myself. Like, I literally left there crying because got hard Jesus checked because I'm like, maybe I should just not do that at games. And I will say, y'all, I've worked really hard and I just clap positively now.
Clap positively. Is there a clap negatively? How do you
Yes.
do that?
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah. Yeah. Get it together.
So Tay had a baseball game the other day and they were losing.
hilarious.
They were down big time. We weren't going
Down
to win.
bad.
And so I was just like, yep, go baseball.
Love
We're
it.
going baseball. Everybody's
Go
winning.
baseball.
So
Sports.
I had to have a change of heart that
yeah.
it ain't about me, mama in the stands there. Even if I don't like it, it ain't about it.
Ain't about it.
I'm not representing Jesus well when I'm hard clapping at
Oh.
That is true.
That is a scary clap. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would be afraid.
Straight up in my seat. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Emily. I'm
So
sorry.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
That's what I
But
can't.
your point number 4,
You know?
it was we are more afraid of the wind and waves instead of the one who calms the storm.
Yep.
That one was me last weekend.
Mm-hmm.
We're afraid because we tend to put our enemy and God on the same level instead of how far above God really is. That was a.
I think you made a great point, though. I think we all needed to hear that sometimes we bring God down to our level.
Yeah.
And He is. We are not even close.
No,
We are not even close.
No.
that was a toe stepper. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of needed to hear that one.
Yeah.
The new and the
Well,
regulars.
Well, and when you talk about God not being able to use or like use you, move through you, your
Yeah.
Right.
availability.
I'm not. So as a Christian, so there's. I don't believe there's some that believe differently, but I don't think there's like one decision or sin that you can make that
Yeah.
causes you to change salvation.
Right, I agree.
Amen.
So, that there's, when you get saved, your legal standing with God changes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what can happen, and because we're all going to sin, so there's going to be mistakes made. There's a difference between being a painter and someone who paints.
Okay.
Fair enough.
A painter,
Like
and this is one Chad uses all the time. A painter, like that's their job. That's
Yeah.
what they do. They paint.
They're professional.
I can paint every now and then, but that's not my profession. That's not who I am.
And
It's
you're
the
gonna be able
same.
to tell the difference.
Yeah, there's same thing
The
with
quality will be different.
there's a difference between a person that sins and a sinner.
That's good.
Mhm.
Like that's who they are.
Somebody
They're
needs to hear that
lost, they
today.
are-
Yep, that's
But
good.
like I paint, but I sin every now and then.
Mhm.
I don't. And now if I'm in my thing is if I'm in active lifestyle,
Repetitive,
sin, I call into question the salvation experience.
Right.
And that would just be a question I would ask to them.
I agree.
Personally, what was that actually like? Because I don't feel like you can be saved and actively pursue sin.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Well, one time's
Changes
a
you.
mistake, second time,
Yeah.
third time, fourth time. That's a choice.
Isn't there an old proverb about that?
Something like
Yes.
Fool me once,
Fool me
something
once,
like that?
shame. Well, there's a song about that, but I can't sing it here.
Oh, that's bad.
To the
Just keep
psalmist,
going,
the
keep going.
psalmist J. Cole. What was it? No, it was George W. Bush. Fool me one time, shame on you. Fool me two times, can't get fooled again.
George W.
George W.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
gonna start using
What
that.
was I saying? So
Love
there's a sinner, and then there's us who are followers of Jesus that sin. We're not in active pursuit of that sin.
Yeah.
So there's nothing that can change your legal standing with God. You're saved, but the sin in your life that like the mistakes that you keep making or you keep
Right.
going back to, that's going to limit what God can do through you.
Yep.
Yep, the favor around you.
It's going to keep that. It's going to. God is going to bless you and take care of you. Makes the rain to fall on the righteous and the
Right.
unrighteous. But the sin in your life is going to keep. So I want to have a healthy fear of God in a way that I don't want to do anything that disappoints Him, that keeps Him doing
Yes.
something through me that He will do if I set myself up in a position to allow
Well, and
Him
that's
to do
your
it.
final point was don't let pride make you a fool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that when you are in that moment of, or in that like lifestyle of being a sinner, I guess, or like
Yeah.
repetitive sin,
Yeah.
you almost have blinders on because you can't even see what God is doing in your everyday life,
Yeah.
and He's still doing things for you.
Yeah, and sometimes it's even people around you are telling you, "Hey, do you see this?" And you're so blinded.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's not changed. Yeah, it's not
So
changed your heart.
my Bible actually has the little things in the bottom, the little cliff notes, and it says the Hebrew words rendered full in Proverbs and also elsewhere in the Old Testament denote a person who is morally deficient.
Yeah.
So it's not like a funny fool. It's like exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Where morally they may say one thing,
So
but they're
there's
doing another
there's
all the time.
three different types of fools that we'll deal with in Proverbs. One of them's like morally, like you
Are
said.
we getting a teaser?
No,
Oh.
because I don't know if they're.
Bum, bum, bum.
I don't know what everybody
Sorry
else
for
is
the
teaching
letdown,
on.
everybody.
But no, I've just I like read too much about Proverbs
Yeah.
this week. But there's
You
it's
did
like
not read too much.
immoral, immorality. There's a fool that, like we talked about today, just out of their arrogance and
Right.
their actions, they reject. It's a fool, because a lot of time in Romans it talks a lot about the wise and the fool, but it talks about in the same way that we're wise because we follow Jesus and fools don't.
Yeah.
Pretty
Right.
much is the separation. Some in that. So yeah, the fool there is really just this arrogant. It's like they despise wisdom.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't need God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the arrogant fool that he's dealing with there. I don't need God. I don't need to fear the Lord. I don't need a relationship because that's it's one or the other. And that's the type of fool. But they are so proud and self sufficient in themselves that they think I don't need anything
Yeah.
else.
And that's when they're keeping themselves at a higher level than what
Yep.
God is.
I agree.
But if follower of Jesus, we can let pride come in to the point where like we think we know better than God.
Oh yeah.
And when that happens, that makes us look like a fool
That's
every
where
time.
church hurt happens. That's where we're making other Christians look bad.
Yeah.
But you did tie it all in at the end with the 1 Corinthians 1:18. For the message of the cross is foolishness to those who are perishing, but to us who are saved, it is the power of God. And I think that with that, like we've all probably had those moments where you look back on life and you're like, holy crap, I'm a totally different person than I used
Yeah.
to be. And it's growth. Or you might have had a friend text you and say, I've seen a lot of growth in you
Yeah.
since we met or whatever. And
Yeah.
I think that those are the times that we also need to do that for people, especially
Yeah.
people who are starting out in their walk. Maybe we've met a new believer and, a couple months down the road, we can tell like their attitude's better or, things like that. Compliment them. I think that as believers to help uplift them.
encouragement.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think-
that's also part of our role.
I couldn't get into it. I didn't have enough time today, but like I wanted to talk about too how like stopped being surprised when people who don't know God act like people that don't know God.
That's true.
Yeah. Why are we shocked by that?
So stop being so like Christian people that just come unglued when it was like I can't remember what the latest
Crazy.
thing we've been mad about.
You could pick a lot
as
of things.
evangelicals, but like I can't believe they did this. I think it was Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
Never listening again.
Yeah.
Can't believe they did this.
Devil.
Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hey. So people who aren't followers of Jesus, number one, are ignorant to the fact and see what we believe as foolishness.
Yeah.
And they
Yeah,
will.
they think we're the crazy
Weirdos.
people.
They will until Christ himself or God draws
Right.
them to them. So stop being so surprised when sinners sin.
Yeah.
Put your picket
honestly,
signs down, people.
Put your outrage up.
Yep. Well, what you
And
said
like-
in the Colossians 2:3, it says, "In Him are hidden all the treasures
Yeah.
of wisdom and knowledge." That's one of the things we pray
Yeah.
for our kids is to have wisdom and to have knowledge, but to use wisdom.
Yeah.
And because those are two different things. Like I can know that what
Yeah.
I'm doing is wrong, but wisdom is choosing
Yeah.
the action
Yeah.
that goes
Yeah.
with that,
And
and that's what these people are doing.
It's like I do not understand
get it
Christian
either.
outrage.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't either. And there's like people that are
Like,
like, well,
if you
why do you
don't-
talk to them, or why do you? Because
If you don't like it, don't listen to it.
Because-
Like,
Right,
what the heck?
right,
Just like,
yeah.
but like,
each
stop
their
being
own.
like, stop just being like clutching your pearls, shocked because of like, I can't believe a sinner has sinned. Like, hey, why don't I would what
Is that
we
an old
should
proverb?
get? What
I
we
can't believe a
should
sinner
get-
sinned.
No,
Yeah.
clutching your pearls.
It is a proverb.
Yes.
What we should get ticked off about is people who claim to be Christians when they
Yeah,
sin. That's when
absolutely.
Christians should get outraged. Hey, you
Yeah.
making us look stupid.
Yeah,
Figure that out.
I'm gonna need you. To
I'm gonna
chill
need
out.
you
Figure
to
that out.
Chill
get
out.
it together.
I almost
And like they can, and the thing is, like sinners, they can't help it yet. They
Yeah.
don't know any better
Yep.
yet. They haven't seen the
Yeah,
light
and
of
what
Christ.
kind of example are you setting, putting your judgy eyes on?
Yeah, but
Well,
I don't
that's
want
what
to judge. I
that's
just want
what
to love.
turns more people
Well,
away.
Yeah.
speaking of that, there
Anything.
was I saw the other day there was.
And I'm not like pro. I don't care about. I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I'm
Are
not
you a
saying, like,
Swiftie?
my wife
Aw.
listens,
Secret
to it, but
Swiftie.
I'm not like pro or
I bet he knows
against.
the
Like
words.
I don't.
I could care less
I don't listen
because
to.
I don't listen to it.
Yeah, I don't listen to much music besides, and I'm not trying to like. I'm so Christian.
Go ahead.
I don't
say
listen
it,
to much
Pastor
music
Mason.
besides like worship music.
Yeah.
But because I don't like most
You
Christian
just
music.
said something about a bad song just 5
I
minutes
don't
ago.
like much
That was in his
Christian
past.
music. But like now I'm into podcasts. Like I'll listen to
Yeah.
podcasts over.
Listen, I like Dolly Parton.
So
music.
smart.
Well, no, I just like talk. I used to listen to talk radio when I was in high
Oh,
school.
Gabe does too. You should
Yeah.
ask him for his podcast
Yeah.
request. And
So like I listen to like 3 or 4. Like I just.
too much talking for me.
I mean, I like
I'd be
Chris Stapleton.
overstimulated.
I love Chris Stapleton.
But I like Chris Tomlin and Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Chris Tomlin
and, Mercy
and-
Me, whatever the Christian ones we're supposed to say, so nobody gets outraged. At
I
us.
was about to say that's like the '90s throwback.
No, I
right
don't
there.
like-
What is happening right
Right, so I
now.
don't like most. Whatever.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
Did I got to giggling when you first came on stage because you said, "Hey, I'm Mason," and I thought about myself making fun of you last week, and it made me laugh.
I got tickled. I even wrote this down. So I got tickled
Did you say,
today
"Hey, my name's Mason"?
when you were talking about how we
Yes.
can't, we can't
Lauren
bring.
made fun of me because last week I was on the announcements.
I heard it, and I kinda
she
tickled-
goes,
got tickled too.
she goes, you really tried to say your name very proper. Hi, my name is Mason.
Mason Harris.
Because he knew us coming.
Today you
for
said our minds cannot wrap themselves around the pinky toe of
My
God.
youth pastor used to say that all the
pinky
time.
toe.
And I was like,
Yeah.
that is very graphic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can't.
My pinky toe's very small.
God's isn't.
I know. That's what I was about to say.
Do you know?
I don't.
You seen it? Thought about
Maybe.
it?
Mary, did you know?
I don't like feet.
She knew.
She
Mary
knew.
knew.
I preached that. Where were we at? I feel like we were talking about something good.
No, we were.
We got. We're so sorry we got sidetracked. We have to.
Yeah,
go.
don't let pride. Don't be a fool.
There we
Follow.
go.
Don't be
There we
a
go.
fool.
And ask for wisdom.
Follow
and knowledge.
Jesus.
Yep.
Yes. Actually, pray for that.
Seek
Pray for
wisdom.
the Lord
Yep.
to
Yeah,
bring that
the Bible,
to you.
James 1:5
Be ready,
says
though.
Go
this.
ahead.
James 1:5 says, "If any man lacks wisdom, let him ask, and God, who is a gracious Father, will give it to him."
Come on.
So, like, God is not
Circled
a
back in
withholder.
one sentence.
A withholder of wisdom. He wants to give you wisdom.
Yep.
He wants to encourage you in wisdom. He wants you to follow him in a deeper way. Yes, fear him, but he loves you. He's gracious. He's merciful. All those things. I'll make him look better next week or in a couple weeks when I preach. I won't make him so mean. But you got to get the point across. Like, come on, quit doing
Oh,
stupid
jeez.
stuff.
Don't do the dumb
We do
stuff.
need
Be
to
smart. Don't
Stop
be
doing
dumb.
the stupid stuff.
Use wisdom. DOM.
Mature.
And not wisdom.
Be mature.
I feel like I have to say that to you a lot. Don't do stupid stuff.
We keep each other in check. It's fine.
Listen,
So
I really
not
do
true.
love Mason. I really do love him. He's my pal. He's my pal.
Well, I am
Bethany's
so.
one of those people you just got to deal with. I'm just
I'm
kidding.
just so happy.
I love Bethany
You
and
love me
Gabe
being in
and
your
all the
life, Mason.
Graveses. I'm glad they're
The
in our
Graveses.
lives.
And Trey, just ask him. I'm his best friend. It's fine.
Well, I personally am thankful to circle back to these sermons
Yeah.
with you all and
Yes,
everybody
so
who
fun.
has joined this season.
Yeah.
It's been an amazing first season.
We
Thank you to
started the
everyone.
season, didn't we?
We did.
who
That's
listened.
why
Yes,
we're on
that's-
here
I think,
together.
what, 15 episodes?
Yeah,
Something like that.
I would like
Yeah.
for people to like comment somewhere on YouTube or something. Like, what was your favorite podcast? Which
Yeah.
one stood out to
Yeah.
you the most?
Yeah.
I'd like to
and
re-listen.
yeah, just let us know anything that you'd like to see because
Yeah.
we do have some conversations about some surprises, you know,
I
during
got
the break.
some stuff in the works.
Stuff in the works.
Oh, word.
But I'm thankful for you all for taking
Same.
your time out of the
Well,
day to do this.
I'm thankful for you. You
Oh.
have killed it.
Yes.
Because we have always wanted, I've tried to do a podcast 2 other times. We've tried to do online
Is it
stuff.
Crash and Burn?
And it just never works. You have to have somebody like Emily.
You do. They can just roll
that-
with it.
Well, that's keeping it like she schedules who's
Yep.
up here. She does all
Sometimes
that
I'm a little
Wait,
on the
say,
back
Emily, I'll
end,
give you
so-
a gratitude clap.
You're the best, Emily.
Not an angry
We
clap.
would not have. We would not have the circle back to Sunday without
Emily. That's
Well,
right.
I'm just thankful for everyone who's dedicated time to it. I
Yeah.
think that I've heard stuff personally. I've heard stuff online
Yeah.
that it's something that someone heard or didn't take away from the service,
Right.
but they did after this, and
Yeah.
and that's the goal. That's really the goal is to help
Yeah.
you all by us having a conversation, a real.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we talk in general. Like
Yeah.
if you saw us just sitting in between
I-
services,
yeah.
this is how we speak.
I like this today because I can get a little bit deeper in what I was trying to say
Right.
that I didn't
Yeah.
have time
Time
for.
for it.
Yeah, so we hope that you guys join us for season 2. We'll kick
Yeah.
that off around August.
Yeah.
So just be watching online on Facebook, Instagram for that announcement. But we hope that you guys join us again as we circle back, starting season 2.
Yeah.
See ya. Peace.